Hello, and welcome to the Cycle Starters podcast. This podcast is made just for you if you're breaking intergenerational patterns and turning ancestral wounds into creative potential, embodied joy, and intergenerational abundance. I'm your host, Heather Rebecca Wilson, and I'm passionate about ancestral healing and growth, as well as astrology and pleasure as transformative medicine. And I'm here to help elevate your consciousness and promote joy in your life. I truly believe everyone can become a cycle starter, reshaping their lineage and fostering growth and healing. Join me as I share enlightening insights and feature inspiring guests. We're here to support you in letting go of anything that's holding you back from your fullest expression in healing, growth, and transformation. So if you're ready to be inspired on your journey of transformation and to create a life that aligns with your true self, then you are in the right place. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share, and follow us on our social media platforms. You can learn more about what I do and how I can support you along your ancestral healing journey on my website, heatherrebeccawilson.com. And please feel free to DM me any topics you'd like for me to cover, share your takeaways, or even better, you can send a screenshot of your review and I will send you a thank you gift. So let's get into it. Hi, everybody. We're here. I'm so excited for today. We have Toni Pasion as our special guest. Hi, Toni.
Hello.
So nice to see your face and
Good to see you too.
hear your voice. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well and just taking the day in.
Awesome. Well, I'm so happy you're here. Thank you for saying yes to this. And what I want to do right now is read your bio aloud so that people get a sense of the energy you're bringing into this conversation and into this space. And then we'll get into our chat. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay, fabulous. Toni M. Kemehana Pasion is an interdisciplinary artist, director, and educator of dance and culture. She is the founder and director of Pasion Performance Group, a dance group focusing on art, culture, and social change based in the Inland Empire, California. She is a woman entrepreneur as the owner of an art gallery space in downtown Riverside and a dance studio in Rancho Cucamonga, and serves as a lecturer in the Department of Dance at the University of California, Riverside. Her focal points are on bridging between traditional and contemporary art and culture, transformational art through process, the power of narratives, dance as a method of conveyance, convergence, and transmission, and dance as a healing art. Welcome, sis.
Thank you.
It's so good to see you. I'm really excited to get into this conversation. So I want to start with you sharing anything you feel comfortable sharing about your ancestors and your ancestry.
Well, my ancestors are of the last names Pasion and Ingal and Franco. And they are from Ilocos Norte and within Ilocos Norte, Lawag, and also Antipolo and Pampanga. So all of those are on the island of Luzon in what is now known as the Philippines. And from there are histories of migration of how our ancestors before those ancestors got there. So I acknowledge them. And these days, whenever I see the Austronesian region and hear our stories, I know that I'm hearing elements of all of my ancestors.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So your amazing workshop that you led inside the Ancestral Healing Collective, and I believe this was in December of 2023, so it's almost a year ago, is titled Movement of the Heart and Instinct. So before we get into the workshop, I guess it would be awesome to hear how you got to this place of sharing your medicine in this way. And I know that you do a lot of different things, but can you tell our community a little bit about your journey to getting to this place as a practitioner?
I'd say it's in this journey of awareness that's been something that I feel I've been connected to from a very young age. So awareness and from there understanding and articulating what is empathy. Why do I feel so much, right? Why do I feel people and not even sure why? But when you're a kid, and for us in our family, we watched a lot of movies growing up. That was part of our family time. So just even wondering why am I so scared of this scary movie right now? And and why are
Yeah.
some of my relatives enjoying this Freddy Krueger movie and I can't even see it? So things like that, or this rom-com. Oh my gosh, I feel so much love for them. And I think at a young age, it started off like that. I feel deeply sensorial naturally. And then just continuing to go on this path of listening into my instincts. And when my heart is beating a little bit louder in certain moments, it's been such a journey of compassion upon the self and resilience at the same time. And in all that, listening, a deep listening to the own inner voice. Um, and at this point of where I'm at in my life stage, I can look back at previous life stages and just continue to develop a relationship with my inner voice. And I would say that has been worth it for me, every day in my decisions. It's been worth getting up out of bed for. So, with all that said, I feel deeply about how we listen into our bodies and connect with them. And especially when we are in spaces and societies where it's not it's not all the time that we run into places that are open to understanding other people's sensibilities or even processing other people's emotions at the same time and how they move. And yeah, I think that it's in the practices that I've learned deep listening upon the self and another. And dance has always been a part of my life, even when I forgot that it was. It was still there. It was just a given for me, and I'm grateful for that. And to be specific, it was cultural dance. It was our Filipino dances and Hawaiian hula, Kanakamali dances. But it's not only the dances, it's the processes on how they were taught. So the people that are named and what we learn from them. So in these ways, I am inspired and influenced and know more about what it is that I'm standing on. And in the journey of resilience, I feel that I'm here for that. I'm here for this groundedness that our ancestors, our practitioner ancestors, our lineage ancestors, all of what they've built, I feel so grateful to be able to stand upon their shoulders. And I just feel like it's so beneficial and fulfilling to live in this way that is fully embodied, to have agency over every aspect of our bodies and minds and our connection to spirit. There's so much agency in that heals so many generations. So that's why I feel such a purpose to it. And it continues to evolve. My dog is agreeing.
Animal friends.
But yeah, that's that. It continues to evolve. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so are you teaching most days of the week? Like, how much are you teaching and performing? What's like the ratio? I'm so curious.
Yes, I am teaching at the studio at least 14 classes a week.
Oh my gosh.
And then in the department I teach 3 courses. So it's I teach a lot throughout the week. And as far as performing, I approach every teaching session as similar to performing. However, in the context of not with the intention to necessarily teach, but more to perform here and there. Here and there, it's pretty sporadic because I am pretty selective.
Yeah.
Yeah, I when I do a performance, I just do something that I can put my entire heart in. So whenever that is, and Sometimes is, every other month maybe or something like that. But that's how often I'm performing. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. I was
Mhm.
just so curious. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
congrats on the studio. That
Thank
is
you.
amazing. I'm
Mhm.
so proud of you and so
Thank you.
happy for you. Can you tell us about your ancestral healing journey so far?
Well, healing is a cycle. It
Mhm.
constantly is happening and in different layers and levels. So even in remembrances, deep remembrances, I consider that healing, because yeah, if we don't remember, there's a lot of healing in remembering where we come from and their names. Just
Yeah.
even in that, there's a lot of healing in gathering in circles and to have a life where we experience full circles regularly is also healing, right? So I experience healing in those ways. And in ways even where I shift my mindset or my body set and my intention set. If I feel like I'm going into a path, a streamline of pessimism or something like that, I have the cognizance. I'm grateful for the awareness to see that and approach myself in a way where I can have some compassion, go case by case and work on shifting it. So I find that even the practice of a process is healing, right? So,
Mhm.
and I think, and it happens individually, times where I'm individual and times where I'm in circles with people. So all of that, I would say that I experience a little bit of healing every day.
Nice.
And sometimes they feel really, really cataclysmic. And sometimes they feel just like that, a flip of a switch. And then I'm just moving into the next step. So right now, I would say I kind of still have my head in it. I haven't really had my head out of it yet to be able to reflect back as much right now, right now. But I can definitely say that I'm walking step by step and breath by breath, really in it. And I feel the effects of it. And well, I will clarify, I feel the effects of intentionally breathing with a sense of agency in my body,
Mhm.
and how healing and liberating, um, empowering and spacious that feels. So sometimes it takes some time to really sit in it. But even, the spark of it, the idea, the thought is part of that healing for me. So yeah, yeah, that's the healing journey. And I find it in many things, in movement, of course, in conversations with people, holding spaces or being a part of spaces. And also these days I've been focusing on how I am going to show up for the world. So how I'm going to do that in the mornings when I get up, and there's a lot of healing in that as well because there's care. And yeah, so that's that. And also with the understanding that my ancestors are always moving through me. There's so many
Mhm.
moving ancestors. So in doing that, I feel them also being vibrant.
Beautiful. Thank you. I love what you said about healing every day and
Hmm.
breath by breath.
Hmm.
I think it really helps folks who are new to the concept of ancestral healing to hear different stories because each of our journeys are going to be unique.
Hmm.
And I want to dig a little bit deeper if you feel comfortable sharing. What patterns do you feel like you're specifically dissolving
Hmm.
in this
Hmm.
lifetime?
Hmm.
When it
Yeah.
can be family related or
Hmm.
even, the collective of our,
Hmm.
Filipinx lineage or
Hmm.
just the collective of humanity in general. What are the specific patterns
Hmm.
you feel like you are transforming and
Hmm.
transmuting?
Well, one is having agency in our own voices and
Mhm.
using it. And I noticed that among different family members, right, of previous generations and yeah, just something that may be a shared thing among different families who also experience migration in their lineages, or the strong desire to assimilate. And that's such a real thing. The assimilation is such a real impact and effect um, on everyone, all generations, to where that's why, and I know I keep mentioning agency, but I love the word so much, so I just say it and practice it. Because I love when I also see other people exercise their agency in their voice and in their concepts and ideas and how they move through a space. I just love to be a part of that in however way, whether that is somebody who is helping set the conditions for that to happen, or somebody who is kind of like a soundboard, whatever it is. I just love to be around pillars. Bring up agency so much because I think that there are spaces where generationally or in our communities, we may feel like we're small or that we don't have a voice. Or that's what we were talking about, how we have to assimilate to whatever the structure or way of doing is within that institution or that workplace or that whichever kind of space where sometimes the dominant voices are not necessarily women of color. I'm just going to say sometimes that's not the dominant voice. And that is just something that I want to exercise, definitely, is if I don't agree with something or if something is being imposed that I don't necessarily feel that I align with or understand yet, then it's okay to say it and not just go with it. It's okay to understand it before we step in rather than feeling a sense of smallness. So that's one of the things that I'd like to dissolve, right? Is the sense of smallness, and how that informs how we live our daily lives and our decisions. And to make the decision then to do whatever you want, but also to not be afraid to go for things. Yeah, to keep moving forward. That is definitely something I am replacing certain patterns with. I'm replacing it. So, yeah. And let's see. I would say those are the main things. The senses of no agency and having to assimilate. I know that we can be so good with assimilating, and I think that's a power of its own. But I also feel like we have such an incredible range that we don't have to be shy or scared of, having our own voice. I guess you could say we don't have to be scared of our own voice. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. That's super powerful. Well, so can you share what have been the biggest challenges for you in terms of dissolving these patterns? Like, what have been the hardest parts of this ancestral healing journey for you so far? I do think it helps to hear because there are a lot of ups and downs on this journey for all of us, even though each of our journeys looks different. Because I do feel people who are new to this find this work very intimidating, right? And a lot of folks will spiritually bypass doing it because it's so confronting. So for you, if you feel comfortable sharing, what have been the biggest challenges?
I think there's always a challenge in approaching everything as case by case.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that informs how we plan, how we prepare, and our relationship to time. Sometimes we don't feel like we have enough time to be able to go through all these steps of care and process. And I think that, that has been a challenge, is navigating my sense of time and what is worth it. Because like many people, we can do so much. We are capable of doing so many things, we can wear so many hats and move from a range of strength in the soft strength as well as the hard strength. We can move through so much of that. And I think that with such a large spectrum of our abilities, it can be hard to fine tune some things. So as far as building resilience, it's supposed to be very uncomfortable. because we're literally sitting on the margins or the edges of whether we use our voice or not,
Mm-hmm.
and then there will come a point, whether it be this life stage or the next life, where we're going to ask, are we really aligned right now? Like, what voice are we listening to? And where are we placing our gravity? Is it inside? Is our gravity inside, or did we give it away? Did we give our sense of gravity away? And that's what's taking our attention away from our own selves,
Mm-hmm.
So I think that there will always be a point where that decision or that perspective will come about. And I think that's where the bypassing comes in, is whether we listen to that and really sit in the discomfort of it or not. So I guess all that to say that it's the question, the evaluation, if we're on the path of awareness, it's going to come up, at some point. So might as well do it now because because it's going to come up later. And if you do it now and go through the journey of patience and compassion with ourselves,
Yeah.
and step by step, it doesn't need to be um, a big leap. It could be the small decisions that we make every day that will really lead to our sense of grit for that big
Mm-hmm.
leap.
Beautiful. Thank you. I do think it helps folks to hear all of this. So thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
So, all right. So let's talk a little bit about the wonderful workshop that you so generously led for the membership back in December.
Mhm.
So again, it's called Movement of the Heart and Instinct. And for those of you who are new to my work, the Ancestral Healing Collective monthly membership is a sacred space that I created for female-bodied cycle breakers to do this work of alchemizing deep ancestral wounds into creative potential, shifts to higher consciousness, and embodied joy with the help of astrology and pleasure as medicine. So one of the perks is that I lead a new moon pleasure practice and dance party on each new moon or very close to the new moon. And then the other big perk is that I invite a guest expert to lead a workshop every month. So our resource library is full of amazing workshops. Toni's workshop is one of them. So, Toni, for folks who are interested in experiencing this movement of the heart and instinct, what can you share that will enable these folks to get the most out of that experience? What would you tell them?
I would say that to prepare your heart and prepare your body for it, right? So you could truly immerse in it, because that will definitely be the benefit of it, is if you are able to set your conditions in your space to be able to immerse. When you do that, you'll be able to really sit within the crevices of your body and in areas where it may feel unknown or like a dark space, right? You can really sit in it and have guided breaths and movement to be able to breathe through it. And that's really the idea of it. That's why we take a somatic approach to it, because we want to take the journey within, and it takes time for that. So if we can truly look at ourselves in the mirror and speak to ourselves kindly in our own eyes of, I'm ready for this, and I'm going to just let my internal voice speak, and I will also listen to it. If we can prepare ourselves in that way with no judgment and just compassion upon ourselves and patience, then it's definitely going to help shift senses of barriers and senses of darknesses within.
Beautiful. It's a very, very powerful experience. You're an awesome guide, an awesome teacher. So thank you again for doing that. If you are interested in experiencing Toni's workshop, you can go to heatherrebeccawilson.com and join the Ancestral Healing Collective. You can learn about all the membership perks there, but it is available in our resource library along with a bunch of other very, very potent workshops. So Okay, I want to switch gears a little bit. So I mentioned that, I have this membership called the Ancestral Healing Collective, and we engage with astrology as basically a framework and a language for empowering ourselves as folks on an ancestral healing journey, but also as energetic beings and empowering ourselves as vessels of divine energy. So I was wondering if you felt comfortable sharing your sun, moon, and rising sign, if you know them, with
Yeah.
our community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, my sign is Libra and my rising is Aquarius in Aquarius. Yeah.
Okay. Do you know your
Mm-hmm.
moon sign?
I think it is Aquarius as well. It's the rising and then the moon. Yes. It's
Rising and moon?
Aquarius.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, so that is so interesting. So you're a Libra sun
Mm-hmm.
and an Aquarius rising and Aquarius moon. So that's
Mm-hmm.
all air, which
Mm-hmm.
actually doesn't surprise me. So air, for those of you who are unfamiliar, the element of air in astrology represents our thoughts, our consciousness, our beliefs, our communication.
Mm-hmm.
And Toni is a teacher at a college, right? And you teach, classes at your studio, and just listening to you right now and also witnessing you teach in Mayari when we were, contributing to that project with
Mm-hmm.
Veronica.
Mm-hmm.
You are very brilliant. You are
Thank
super,
you.
super smart. So
Thank you.
all that air comes through. Like you
Mm-hmm.
are very sharp and
Thank
also
you.
very clear and um, concise and also deep in how
Mm-hmm.
you communicate. So I want to just reflect that back to you. Like
Thank
you're
you.
super, super, very, very smart, intellectual. And yeah, it's just so cool.
I
So
appreciate you.
Aquarius, yeah, of
Mm-hmm.
course. No, so um, I want to talk about your rising sign because the
Mm-hmm.
rising sign, well, first of all, the rising sign represents the point due east the moment you take your first breath. So that's why whenever I'm reading a chart, I ask for the exact birth time because the
Mm-hmm.
rising sign changes like every 1 to 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very specific, and
Mm-hmm.
it's my belief that when we were, in the unseen realms, we
Mm-hmm.
decide when we're going to come in, right? We
Right.
decide we want to learn these lessons in this lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And so the rising sign really represents your perception of reality,
Mm-hmm.
but also it's the vehicle for your divine mission in this lifetime. And
Mm-hmm.
so as an Aquarius rising, I'm going to say all this and then I want to hear if this resonates with
Sure.
you. So Aquarius is fixed air. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, that when I tune into that, it's like deep space, right? It's like the vastness of space. And so that archetypal energy for me is that of the visionary, somebody who is avant-garde, who
Mm-hmm.
is concerned with the future,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody who is very much a humanitarian, right? They care about the collective of humanity, but also having that balanced with individual authentic expression.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the cool magic thing about Aquarius that I love is that, yes, this is the rebel, this is the genius, but it's also how do we balance the needs of the collective with our individual expression, right? Like being the unique energetic signature that each of us is.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I mean, I get the sense that you are very much concerned with the collective of humanity, with
Mm-hmm.
people. You are super, super caring. Um, and at the same time, Aquarius can also be kind of distant sometimes. Like, there's each sign as a spectrum of psychospiritual energy with a high expression and low expression. And
Mm-hmm.
so while Aquarius is very concerned with humanity, they can also like not like specific people. They're like, I love humanity, but sometimes people really annoy me. Sometimes. So, and also with the Aquarius moon, your Aquarius rising and Aquarius moon, the moon represents your emotions and your ancestral wounds. And most importantly for me, it represents what you are responsible for giving to yourself in order to feel at home and centered in your own energy. And so what that tells me about the blueprint that you like came in with, and we always evolve, right? And these are all just potentials, and we all have free choice and free will. What it tells me is that when it comes to your emotional life or your emotional self, you might do a lot of processing in the mind. And I love how you do so much dance, right? Because you know how important it is to come back into the body, because we can drive ourselves crazy thinking and looping, you know? So tell me about that. Tell me about how you take care of your emotional self when you have this brilliant mind, because that can be a trap
I
sometimes,
hear that.
right? Where
I
you're
hear
just like
that.
overthinking and
Yeah.
ruminating. How do you care for your emotional self?
Thank you for this question. I let it breathe. I let
Mm-hmm.
it breathe. If it needs a deep cry, then we do that, you know. And I let the emotional self be, and I'm aware of it to where it helps. When I intentionalize it, it can help energize me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I need to kind of close a bit of a little door, you know, I can build the awareness to do that, to not let any senses of what necessarily won't help my heart in, you know. So I like to think I take care of it in that kind of way, cognizant, and I also let it breathe. I try not to suppress anything and just let it be. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, so I have to talk about this Libra sun of yours. So
Mhm.
Libra is also an air sign like
Mhm.
Aquarius, but it's a different modality. It's
Mhm.
cardinal air.
Mhm.
So whereas Aquarius is
Mm,
fixed and
I
very
see.
stable,
Mm,
you know, and it can be stubborn too in the
mm,
lower expression, but it's very dependable when somebody's got a
mm,
lot of fixed energy. It's like, this is who I am. And, you know,
mhm,
there's not much changing, and
mhm,
I'm not going to change unless
mhm.
I feel like changing, right?
Uh-huh.
It can be kind of like immovable. But
Uh-huh.
the
Uh-huh.
the cardinal modality is like the initial thrust of the
Mm,
energy. So,
mhm, mhm,
a sign that is cardinal will start each of our seasons. And so
mhm,
when I think of Libra as cardinal air, it's like this big gust of wind coming in,
mhm,
right? It's
mhm,
very, very powerful, just kind of
mm,
like clearing the way.
mhm,
And Libra is ruled by Venus, who is the
mm,
goddess of love, money, and pleasure.
mm,
And so
mhm,
um, that archetypal energy is very
mhm,
much associated with balance
mhm,
and harmony and
mhm,
peace
mhm,
and objectivity,
mhm,
impartiality,
mhm.
and creating beauty and
Right.
harmony in the world. So
Mhm.
this is where you shine. Can you tell me about how you relate to your Libra sun in
Mhm.
your life?
Yeah. I feel a deep sensibility to the Libra sign
Mhm.
in the sense of balance as a way of navigation. Yeah, I feel that every day. I navigate in that kind of way to where
Yeah.
if it's imbalance, then I know it. And that's how the Libra comes in. The creativity, absolutely. I let it roll. I let it roll in ways where, yeah, it's through dance, but we've also changed our aesthetics with dance, right? Sometimes we're
Mhm.
dancing because maybe we're asking a question or something like that. So I feel even more creative in those kinds of ways where I'm not necessarily thinking about how a dance looks or presents itself. That's part of it. And also the dance realm is so wide, right? So, or the creative realm is so wide and expansive, ever expansive. So, I feel the Libra sign is very important in helping to navigate a sense of groundedness and balance with the the realm, the continuum of creativity. So I feel it in those ways for sure. It also helps me to be rational. Yeah, it really does. It helps me to be rational, to think in that kind of way. And yeah, just go breath by breath and step by step. So it helps me in that kind of way too. And, we use our voice when we need to. And also in a communal aspect, we are there to fill in whatever needs to be filled in for the sense of balance.
Right.
Since it's
Right.
the balance of the whole thing, right? So that's usually my approach too is, okay, I'm very observant in a space and then, okay, where can I fill in as a way to help the sense of balance? Not that a place isn't already, it's just that, we all have a gift to share. So I feel that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm there for. So
I love it.
mm,
I love that. All right. Well, so, you so generously, as I said, led this experience for the membership back in December. And I actually have not had a chance to catch up with you since
mhm,
then. And so
mhm,
now we get to move into what, ends up being my favorite part of these conversations. I
yes.
want to know what you're working on now that
Mm,
is exciting you, that is
mhm,
inspiring you. Please
mm,
give all of us, including
mhm,
me, an
mhm.
update on Tony World. What is
Yeah.
happening in Tony World?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's very full. It's very full in just the heart of creating a production with the studio
Mm-hmm.
and to where we're having a duo event to celebrate our first year.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, our first 12 months, 11 months in December, right? And then 12 will be in January, but we're celebrating the 11. And and what that entails. So we have the studio classes, which operates like a school that focuses on indigenous methodologies of our development as individuals and our communities and within our communities and our relationships with the spaces of where we're at. So that's all of what we do through dance, right? Through dance. That's all of what we do. We're helping to generate light and goodness into the world through people of ages 5 to 85 right now, right?
Love
So
it.
different life stages. So it's quite a full experience for the studio. We also are in our first season with our dance company. And
Awesome.
we are having that duo event where it's also the premiere of our dance company, which is super exciting to me because I am in the stage of really listening to my ancestors completely without asking too many questions about
Mm-hmm.
how something is going to happen or why is that idea so big. I'm just like, okay, I'm not holding back right now and I'm just going to go for it. And every time every time I just go for it, like make that conscious decision to whoever is moving through me, my ancestors that are moving through me, and just we've established a sense of trust to where we're like, okay, let's put this out there. I'm not seeing it out there yet in the world, so let's just go on and do it. When I'm listening into this voice, I feel a spark from it, and so that's where we're at creatively. There's a spark, and very excited for that. I get to work with a longtime collaborator of mine, Angela Sebastian,
Mm-hmm.
who is from the Philippines and is now teaching in Bellingham, Western University in the dance department. And her and I go back and forth on decolonial processes and embodied work and our culture of Philippine X, and our connections with Hawaii and our migrations of where we're at right now and how that informs everything, our identity, our sense of purpose, how we work with people. Anyways, so much to say, but her and I get to continue our work together um, in ways where we're thinking beyond the stage. I'm thinking of like the power of drag. I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking of
Yeah, cool.
the yeah, the power of sensuality, the power of flirtation, and also grounding in the element of lava and fire. So, gosh, so much to say, but I will just say this, that it's very exciting to me that we get to create work that we are truly sitting in the depths of exploring and expressing all the elements of femininity in its powerfulness. So if that is the strength of soft, right, and the strength of fire, which are elements that are in the show, that's what we're doing. So that's what we're doing, going for it, teaching at the university and preparing for a very big 2025.
So exciting.
Yeah.
Congrats on this anniversary coming up.
Thank you.
I mean, the studio, your own dance company, teaching multiple times a week, performing when you feel inspired. I think that's great that you are very selective and choosy about that. I think that makes a lot of sense for you, considering how much is on your plate with everything that you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm so impressed, Toni. This is just fabulous. And you're such an inspiration to everyone, but I think especially in the Filipinx community, you're definitely a leader, and you are really like this embodied leader, and all of your wisdom really comes through in your energetic transmission. And I love your energy and your energetic presence. So this is all so exciting. Gosh, we could talk forever. I mean,
Yeah.
when you said, oh, the connection between, Filipinos and Hawaiians, I mean, we could just do a whole
I know.
episode
Yeah.
on this. So let's put a pin in that, because I think that would be amazing. I really would love to do that, because I think people don't know anything about that,
Right.
including people in our own community. They don't know about the connection. So anyway, we're going to put that on the shelf for another time, because we could probably talk for hours about this. So Toni, you know that this is the Cycle Starters podcast, and the way that I end each interview is that I ask each guest, what are the new cycles that you are starting, right? Which means, what are the new seeds that you're planting in your lineages to positively impact the descendants that are already Earthside, but also the descendants that are to come? What are the new seeds that you're planting?
I would say I'm contributing to an honoring of our intuition as a way of navigation, just honing in on how we can take care of that and honor our voices through embodied practices, through breath work and dance, movement, just empowering that. I hope that that will continue to refine, right, what many generations have been working on and have known for a very long time, is that we are embodied beings. We have a body, right? We breathe and share the same air. So just those practices and awarenesses that we're not here as singular beings, anything that gets us to really remember that we are connected and full beings. So those are the seeds that I am working to continue to plant and generate and empower.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Well, so Toni, this has been an amazing conversation. I love catching up with you. You are such an inspiration. If people want to learn more about you and your work in the studio and the dance company, where should they go?
On Instagram, we have our handle, Aloha Hula Studio. We also have our website, alohahulastudio.com. And I also have my personal website and Instagram, Toni Pasion 8, the number 8.com. And then my Instagram handle is also Toni.Pasion, the number 8 as well.
Awesome. All right. Well, so I will put all of those links in the description below this video. And I'm just so grateful for you. I'm very, very grateful for you. It's so lovely to connect. I definitely want to stay in touch, and we're going to resume this conversation. We're going to follow the different, the different portals that kind of opened in this conversation, right? Because there's so many places that we could go because you're
Definitely.
doing so many interesting things and
Mhm.
weaving so many beautiful things together,
Thank you.
and doing new stuff in the world. I love how you said, we don't see this out here. We're going to do it.
Yeah.
So that's
Mhm.
very Aquarius, by the way, just like being an original, right? And doing
Mm,
your own thing. So I
mhm.
really appreciate that about
Thank
you.
thank you, and you
All
too.
right.
You too.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you for the work
Oh my
that you
gosh.
do very much. I love that we get to have these conversations and even speak in these languages, right?
I know.
Sometimes it's a language and it feels so freeing and just wonderful to be able to connect with you, sis. So thank you for the work that you do.
Thank you. I received that. All right, everyone. We will catch you on the next episode of the Cycle Starters podcast. Thanks, Tony. Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody. All right. Bye bye.